Hello, I'm Ingrid Miller and I wrote the Ironplanner, and I wanted to talk to you today about my book and how it can help you. My book is called the Ironplanner. This is what it looks like. It's one of the Ironman series of books. And what makes this book unique is that it's very practical. It starts with a checklist of 100 things you need to do to get ready for your Ironman race. Now, I'm not talking about training, about heart rates, about intensity, about hours that you have to be out there working. I'm talking about all the other stuff that you have to do to get ready for a race that nobody talks about. All of the planning that you have to do, the deciding, the analyzing. And this book is really a tool to help you do that. So it starts with a countdown, which is 100 items that you need to do to get ready for your race. It starts with the moment you point, click, and make that commitment to do this tremendous race, and it takes you all the way through to the morning on race day, what you need to do. And having a list like this really eases your mind and reduces some of the stress that's involved with doing an event like this. So let me give you an example of how this book can help you. If we look at the checklist and we look at item number 22, it says create a fueling plan for the bike leg. Now everybody knows that fueling for an Ironman is absolutely crucial. Some people call it the fourth discipline. If you don't get that right, you're either going to run out of gas during the run, or you're going to get some sort of a intestinal problem. You might luck out and be absolutely fine, but every decision that you make up until that run leg is going to influence how you do on the run. So it's very important that you have a plan. Somebody else's plan isn't going to work for you. That's why there isn't a lot of specific information in this book. The book is more a guide how you can analyze and find the answer for yourself. And it directs you to the things that you're going to need to figure out before race day. So again, talking about the fueling. There's a whole chapter on fueling. What do you do? How do you approach this issue? One of the first things you do is you get rid of the fuels. You eliminate fuels that bother you. Well, how do you figure out what those are? You have to read the labels of your fuels carefully, and you can use this worksheet, and it goes through, it lists all the different types of fuels that are typically used by triathletes, the ingredients in those fuels. And you may find through experimentation that whenever you have a fuel, for instance, that has maltodextrin in it, you get a little gassy. Well, all right, for a 1 or 2 hour workout, that's not going to be a big deal. But that is a signal that that particular fuel is probably not going to work for you when you've been slogging through a race for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, or 15, 16 hours. So you need to be very sensitive to what these fuels do to you, and it's important that you keep track of them. So again, what this book will do is guide you through that issue. Okay, this is something you have to pay attention to when you go out on your long training sessions. You need to pay attention to what fuels you're consuming, what ingredients are in those fuels, and you'll see patterns over a period of time that a certain ingredient seems to agree with you and something else doesn't. And you, over time, the time that you're preparing for your race, will figure out what your preferences are and what works for your body. And that's tremendously important. And there are different considerations for different parts of the race. The swim, obviously you're probably not going to be taking fuel in. You're pretty fresh at that point. But really it starts with the bike. Not only is it a matter of what to consume, you have to figure out how you're going to carry the stuff. You know, here we've got the profile bottle. That works. How are you going to use it? Are you going to just put your fuel in here, you know, all your calories in here, and take water bottles at the aid stations? You have to figure that out for yourself. There are insulated water bottles. This is the Polar. There are water bottles that have gels in them. Is that going to work for you? Maybe you're going to use, this is known as a bento box. You're going to put this on your top tube and put your fuel in here. Or maybe you're going to take it real simply and use the fabulous electrical tape to tape gels onto your top tube. You have to think all of this through. And what the book does is tell you at the outset, these are the problems you're going to have to solve. And it guides you to solving those problems. One of the other huge issues in Ironman is mental preparedness. One of the things you really need is confidence. Well, how do you develop confidence if you haven't done an Ironman before? There are ways to do it. I've got tools behind me. Think of this book as a toolbox, as a toolkit. You want confidence? Here's your confidence. How do you do this? The book shows you how. You're going to need a plan for if you have a meltdown during the run. What are you going to do? Do you have your tool all set up? I hope so. This book will give you the tools so you can have a successful race day. Other things will be like developing a theme for your race, visualizing your race. You know, you read articles all the time about how important it is to visualize a race, but has anybody ever sat you down and led you through the process? This book actually has a checklist for each leg of the race, all the different things that you need to think about ahead of time. When you're standing there, either on the shore or you're in the water at the race start, and the national anthem plays, have you placed yourself there? It's really hard to do because that's a really emotional moment. But you want to capture those moments in your imagination to prepare you for your day. And this book helps you do it. So I hope that you will find an Ironplanner helpful for you. I hope you find my website helpful. I'm at ironplanner.net. There's a updated race calendar, but more than that, there are maps and videos and race reports to help you get to the race before you're actually there. And all of that is crucial to your preparation. So I wish you a happy Ironman race, and thanks for listening.